Men, I need to share something with you that most doctors, in a rushed 15-minute appointment, simply don't have the time to explain. When your sexual function starts declining, your body is sending you an urgent message, one that could save your life. Dr. Mohit Kara, a leading vascular specialist, puts it bluntly. Erectile dysfunction isn't just about what happens in the bedroom. It's your body's early warning system screaming that your blood vessels are in trouble. Think of it this way. The arteries in your penis are some of the smallest in your body, about half the width of your coronary arteries. When blood flow problems start there, it's like the canary in the coal mine dying first. What I'm about to share with you goes far beyond just improving your sex life. We're talking about rebuilding your entire circulatory system from the inside out, reclaiming the vitality and confidence you deserve. If you're concerned about your vascular health or simply want to maintain good circulation as you age, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more practical health advice tailored for adults over 60. Hit that like button if you've experienced any of these subtle warning signs I mentioned, and share in the comments what changes you've noticed in your energy levels as you've gotten older. Your experience might help someone else recognize these important signals. 1. The vascular endothelium, your body's forgotten inner lining. Now, let me take you deeper into what's really happening inside your blood vessels. Most men have never heard of the vascular endothelium, yet it's the master controller of your entire circulatory system. Picture this. Every single blood vessel in your body, from the massive aorta down to the tiniest capillary in your penis, is lined with a paper-thin layer of cells called the endothelium. We're talking about just one cell thick. That's thinner than tissue paper. This microscopic lining is like the mission control center for your blood flow. When you're young and healthy, this endothelium is smooth, flexible, and incredibly smart. It's constantly monitoring your blood pressure, deciding when to relax your arteries to let more blood through, and preventing dangerous clots from forming. Think of it like the non-stick coating on a high-quality pan. Everything flows smoothly. Nothing sticks or burns. But here's where things go wrong for men over 60. Years of stress, poor diet, and inflammation have been sandblasting this delicate lining. It becomes rough, sticky, and stiff. Instead of that smooth Teflon surface, you now have something that looks more like coarse sandpaper. When your endothelium gets damaged like this, it can't do its job properly. It stops producing the chemical signals that tell your arteries to relax and open up. Even worse, it starts attracting cholesterol and other particles that stick to the rough surface, building up those dangerous plaques we talked about earlier. This is why your erections feel weak and unreliable. Your penile arteries are trying to expand, but that damaged endothelium is like a rusty gate that won't open properly. The pharmaceutical approach completely ignores this root cause. Those pills are like using a crowbar to force open that rusty gate. Sure, it might work temporarily, but you're not fixing the underlying rust and damage. But here's the remarkable thing about your endothelium. Unlike other parts of your body that can't regenerate, this lining has an incredible ability to repair itself when given the right raw materials. Scientists have discovered that certain nutrients can actually act like molecular repair putty, smoothing out those rough spots and restoring that non-stick surface. To get this blood vessel factory running again, you need two things. First, the repair materials to fix the factory walls and machinery. Second, the startup signals to get the production line moving again. Only when both are supplied together can your vascular system truly rebuild from the inside out. What's fascinating is that this repair process doesn't take months or years. When you give your endothelium what it needs, you can start seeing improvements in blood flow within days. Some men notice changes in their morning erections within the first week. We're about to reveal these powerful endothelium-repairing foods in just a moment. But first, we need to understand exactly how they work. Their main job is restoring production of one critical chemical signal, what I call the master switch for male arousal, In the next chapter, I'll show you why this switch fails after 60 and reveal a hidden habit that almost every man does daily that completely sabotages this vital signal. 2. The nitric oxide collapse. Why your body's on switch fails. Now that we've talked about your damaged endothelium, let's dig into the real culprit behind your struggles. There's one chemical messenger that controls everything, and after 60, your body's production of this vital compound drops like a rock. I'm talking about nitric oxide. Think of it as your body's master on switch for erections. When your brain sends that arousal signal, your endothelium immediately starts pumping out nitric oxide molecules. These tiny messengers are like keys that unlock the smooth muscle cells wrapped around your penile arteries. The moment those muscle cells get the nitric oxide signal, they relax completely. Your arteries open wide, blood rushes in, and you get that firm, reliable erection you remember. It's a beautiful system that happens in seconds when everything's working right. But here's the harsh reality. By age 60, most men produce 50% less nitric oxide than they did at 30. By 70, that drops to just 25% of youthful levels. This isn't just normal aging. It's a complete breakdown of your body's most important blood flow system. Picture an old house with faulty wiring. You can flip that light switch all you want, but if the wiring's corroded and the power's weak, you'll get dim, flickering lights at best. That's exactly what's happening in your blood vessels. Those endothelial cells that make nitric oxide are like tiny factories. Over the years, these factories break down. The machinery gets rusty, the raw materials run out, and production grinds to a halt. Even worse, whatever little nitric oxide you do make gets destroyed almost immediately by free radicals in your bloodstream. This is why those pharmaceutical solutions feel like such a band-aid fix. They're forcing electricity through damaged wiring. Sure, you might get some flickering lights, but you haven't fixed the real problem. The wiring's still shot, the power's still weak, and you're completely dependent on that pill to make anything happen. Here's what most men don't know. Your body has an amazing ability to rebuild these nitric oxide factories. The endothelium can heal itself, the cellular machinery can be repaired, and production can bounce back to levels you haven't seen in years. But it needs the right raw materials, specific nutrients that act like replacement parts for your system. Scientists have pinpointed certain foods that contain exactly what your body needs to restart nitric oxide production. These aren't weird superfoods or expensive supplements. They're everyday foods you can grab at any grocery store, but most guys have no clue how powerful they really are. When you feed your body these nitric oxide building blocks, something incredible happens. Within hours, your cellular factories start humming back to life. Blood flow improves throughout your entire system. Many men notice stronger morning erections within the first week and full restoration within a month. But here's something that'll blow your mind. There's a daily habit that almost every man does, something your dentist actually tells you to do, that can wipe out up to 50% of the nitric oxide boost you get from these foods. Most guys do this right after brushing their teeth every morning, completely clueless that they're sabotaging their own recovery. 3 nitrate powerhouses. The surprising truth beyond beats. Now let's talk about the first group of foods that can actually rebuild your nitric oxide production. And I guarantee you'll be shocked by what I'm about to reveal. Everyone's heard about beets, right? They're the poster child for nitric oxide foods. And yes, they work, but here's what nobody tells you about how they actually work, and why most men are getting only a fraction of the benefits they should be. When you eat beets, you're not directly getting nitric oxide. You're getting something called nitrates. Think of nitrates as the raw material that your body has to convert into the nitric oxide you need. It's like having lumber delivered to build a house. You still need the right tools and workers to turn that lumber into something useful. Here's where it gets fascinating. The conversion happens in 2 stages, and the first stage occurs in the most unexpected place, your mouth, specifically on your tongue. There are specialized bacteria living on your tongue right now that grab those nitrates and convert them into nitrites. Then, when those nitrites hit your stomach acid, they transform into the nitric oxide your blood vessels are desperately craving. This is why some men eat beets religiously, but see zero improvement. They're unknowingly killing off the very bacteria that make the whole system work. And I'll reveal the common, everyday habit responsible for this later in the video. It's something many of you probably did this morning. But first, let me blow your mind with something the health industry doesn't want you to know. Beets aren't even close to being the most powerful nitrate source. The real champions form a trio of leafy greens, and the #1 contender might shock you. I'm talking about arugula. That peppery green that most guys dismiss as fancy salad stuff is actually a nitric oxide powerhouse. Just 2 cups of arugula delivers more nitrates than an entire large beet. And unlike beets, which can be tough to stomach daily, arugula blends perfectly into smoothies or can be eaten raw without that earthy taste some men can't stand. Spinach is another heavy hitter. Fresh spinach contains about twice the nitrates of beets, and it's incredibly versatile. You can throw it into eggs, blend it into a morning smoothie, or eat it raw in a salad. The key is eating it fresh. Those bagged, pre-washed spinach leaves that have been sitting around for weeks have lost most of their nitrate power. So, whenever possible, opt for fresh bunches with vibrant, crisp leaves over pre-bagged options that look limp or wet. Swiss chard rounds out this nitrate trinity. It's got a mild flavor, loads of nitrates, and it's packed with other nutrients your vascular system needs. Most men have never even tried it, but it's often cheaper than spinach and keeps longer in the fridge. Here's the critical part most people get wrong. How you prepare these foods matters enormously. Overcooking destroys nitrates. Boiling spinach for 10 minutes turns it into green mush, with barely any nitrate content left. Your best bet is eating these vegetables raw or very lightly steamed, just enough to wilt them slightly. The timing matters too. Your tongue bacteria are most active when your mouth isn't flooded with other substances. Having a glass of fresh arugula and spinach juice first thing in the morning, before coffee or breakfast, gives those bacteria the best chance to do their conversion work. But here's something that'll change everything you think you know about this process. There's a second pathway your body uses to create nitric oxide, one that doesn't rely on your mouth bacteria at all. This backup system uses a completely different type of compound, and when you combine it with these nitrate-rich foods, the results are nothing short of remarkable. This second pathway is like a backdoor to nitric oxide production, one that is more direct and isn't affected by what's happening in your mouth. And the key to unlocking it is found in a summer fruit most people love, but they throw away the most powerful part. 4. The citrulline loop, watermelon's secret to soothing stiff arteries. Now here's where things get really interesting. While those leafy greens are working their nitrate magic through your mouth bacteria, there's a completely separate highway your body uses to create nitric oxide, and it's hiding in plain sight in your kitchen right now. I'm talking about watermelon, but not the sweet red flesh you're thinking of. The real treasure is in the part you've been throwing away your entire life, that thick white rind between the green skin and the red fruit. This white rind is absolutely loaded with something called L-citrulline, and it's about to change everything you think you know about blood flow. While nitrates need those tongue bacteria to work their magic, citrulline takes a completely different route through your body, one that's more reliable and longer-lasting, like having a backup generator for your nitric oxide production. Here's how this incredible process works. When you eat citrulline, it travels straight to your kidneys. Your kidneys then convert it into arginine, and that arginine becomes a direct building block for nitric oxide production. It's like having a manufacturing plant inside your body that's constantly churning out the raw materials your blood vessels need. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not just telling you to take arginine supplements. Here's the problem with that approach. When you swallow arginine pills, most of it gets destroyed in your digestive system before it ever reaches your bloodstream. It's like trying to deliver ice cream in a furnace. Plus, high doses of arginine can cause stomach upset and other digestive issues that make most men quit taking it within weeks. Citrulline is completely different. It slips through your digestive system like it owns the place, gets absorbed efficiently, and then provides a slow, steady supply of arginine exactly where your body needs it. Think of it as a time-release capsule for your blood vessels. Instead of getting a quick spike and crash, you get hours of sustained nitric oxide production. Just 1 cup of that white rind contains a remarkable amount of citrulline, a potent dose that can rival or even surpass what you'd find in many expensive supplements. And unlike pills, you're getting it in its natural form, surrounded by other nutrients that help your body use it more effectively. Now, I know what you're thinking. This stuff is tough and tasteless. How exactly do you eat it? The secret is in your blender. Just cut away the green outer skin, chop up that white part, and blend it into a smoothie. It has a very mild, slightly cucumber-like taste that disappears completely when mixed with other fruits. If you don't have watermelon on hand, don't worry. Cucumbers are another excellent source of citrulline that most men completely overlook. The skin and seeds contain the highest concentrations, so don't peel your cucumbers if you want maximum benefit. Just wash them well and eat them whole. There's also bitter melon, which might sound unappetizing but is incredibly potent. It's available in most Asian grocery stores and has been used for centuries to support circulation. You can find it pickled or fresh, and just a small amount provides significant citrulline content. The timing is flexible too. Unlike those leafy greens that work best on an empty stomach, you can have watermelon or cucumber anytime during the day. Many men find that a watermelon smoothie in the afternoon gives them sustained energy and better circulation that lasts well into the evening. But here's something crucial that ties this all together. While citrulline provides the building blocks and nitrates provide the raw materials, there's a third component that acts like the engine oil in this entire system. Without it, even the best nitric oxide production falls flat, and your blood vessels remain stiff and unresponsive. These are specific minerals that most men over 60 are severely deficient in, and there's one food that contains both of them in perfect proportions. 5. The mineral matrix, the zinc and magnesium that fuel your manhood. Even if you've got those nitrates flowing and citrulline pumping through your system, there's still something missing from this equation. Think of it like having premium fuel and clean fuel lines, but your engine's spark plugs are corroded and your oil is thick as molasses. That's exactly what happens when you're deficient in 2 critical minerals that most men over 60 are running dangerously low on. I'm talking about zinc and magnesium, and they're hiding in one of nature's most perfect packages, pumpkin seeds. These little powerhouses contain both minerals in almost ideal proportions, like they were designed specifically for men's vascular health. Let's start with zinc, because this mineral is absolutely crucial for your manhood in ways most guys never realize. Your prostate contains more zinc than any other organ in your body, and there's a good reason for that. Zinc is the raw material your body uses to manufacture testosterone, and without adequate levels, your testosterone production drops like a stone. Here's what most men don't know. You lose zinc every single time you have an orgasm. It's literally being depleted from your system on a regular basis, and if you're not replacing it, you're running on empty. By age 60, most men are operating with zinc levels that would have been considered deficient when they were younger, but nobody's checking for it. When zinc levels drop, it's not just your testosterone that suffers. Your entire immune system weakens, your sense of taste and smell diminish, and most importantly for our discussion, zinc acts as a crucial helper for the enzyme that produces nitric oxide in your blood vessels. Without enough zinc, it's like having a perfectly tuned radio but a weak antenna. The signal just doesn't get through clearly. Now, magnesium is a different story but equally important. This mineral acts like nature's own calcium channel blocker throughout your entire cardiovascular system. You know how doctors prescribe calcium channel blockers for high blood pressure? Well, magnesium does the same thing naturally, preventing calcium from making your blood vessels clamp down too tight. Think of your blood vessels like rubber bands. When you're magnesium deficient, those rubber bands become brittle and tight. They can't stretch properly, and they're always under tension. That's why so many men experience that cramping sensation in their chest or that feeling of tightness when they try to exercise. Their blood vessels are literally in spasm. Magnesium deficiency is incredibly common because modern life depletes it faster than we can replace it. Every time you're stressed, your body burns through magnesium. Every cup of coffee, every alcoholic drink, every processed meal, they all drain your magnesium stores. Most men are walking around in a chronic state of magnesium depletion without even knowing it. But here's where pumpkin seeds become your secret weapon. Just a quarter cup of raw pumpkin seeds gives you nearly half your daily zinc needs and a significant dose of magnesium. They're also loaded with healthy fats that help your body absorb these minerals more effectively. The beauty of pumpkin seeds is their convenience. You can keep a small container in your car, at your desk, or in your kitchen. They don't need refrigeration, they last for months, and they actually taste good. Many men find that having a handful in the evening becomes a satisfying ritual that supports their health goals. You can buy them raw and roast them yourself with a little sea salt, or purchase them already prepared. Some men prefer to add them to salads or blend them into smoothies, but honestly, eating them straight from the container works perfectly fine. The timing matters too. Having pumpkin seeds in the evening is particularly beneficial because both zinc and magnesium support better sleep quality. Magnesium helps relax your nervous system, while zinc supports the overnight testosterone production that peaks during deep sleep phases. But here's something crucial you need to understand. Even with all these nutrients working in your favor, the nitrates, the citrulline, the zinc, and magnesium, there's still one major obstacle that can sabotage everything. Your blood vessels might be getting all the right building blocks, but if there's a slow-burning, invisible fire smoldering inside your arteries, all your efforts could be going to waste. 6. Extinguishing vascular fire. The anti-inflammatory shield. You know, even if you've got all those nutrients flowing through your system, the nitrates from leafy greens, the citrulline from watermelon rind, and those essential minerals from pumpkin seeds, there's still a hidden enemy working against you around the clock. It's like having a top-notch fire suppression system in your house, but there's a small electrical fire smoldering behind the walls that you can't see. This invisible threat is chronic low-grade inflammation, and it's literally burning up your blood vessels from the inside. Think of it as a slow-burning fire that never gets put out. Day after day, this inflammatory process damages the delicate lining of your arteries, making them stiff, rough, and unresponsive. When your blood vessels are inflamed like this, they become less responsive to the signals that tell them to relax and open up. It's like trying to operate a delicate machine with rusty, corroded parts. No matter how much fuel you give it, it's not going to perform optimally. Here's what makes this particularly sneaky. You can't feel it. Unlike when you cut your finger or sprain your ankle, this chronic inflammation operates below your pain threshold. Your body's alarm system never goes off, so the damage accumulates silently over years and decades. The good news is that nature has provided us with some incredibly effective anti-inflammatory compounds that act like a fire department for your blood vessels. These foods don't just provide building blocks for repair. They actively protect your cardiovascular system from ongoing damage. Let's start with omega-3 fatty acids, particularly the ones found in fatty fish, like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These aren't just any fats. They're specialized compounds that your body uses to manufacture its own anti-inflammatory molecules. When you consume adequate omega-3s, your body literally starts producing substances that cool down the inflammatory fire in your arteries. Most men don't realize that their omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is completely out of whack. We're consuming massive amounts of omega-6 oils from processed foods, which actually promote inflammation, while getting almost no omega-3s to counteract this effect. It's like pouring gasoline on that smoldering fire instead of water. Sardines are particularly valuable because they're small fish that haven't accumulated the mercury and toxins found in larger predatory fish. A can of sardines gives you more omega-3s than most fish oil supplements, plus you're getting them in their natural form alongside other beneficial nutrients. But fish isn't the only weapon in your anti-inflammatory arsenal. Dark berries like blueberries and blackberries contain some of nature's most potent antioxidant compounds. These polyphenols don't just neutralize free radicals. They actually signal your genes to produce more of your body's own antioxidant enzymes. Think of antioxidants like a bucket brigade fighting that vascular fire. Free radicals are constantly being generated in your blood vessels, especially when you're under stress or exposed to toxins. Without adequate antioxidants, these free radicals damage your endothelial cells, making them less able to produce nitric oxide and regulate blood flow. Dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao content is another valuable ally. The flavonoids in dark chocolate have been shown to improve endothelial function within hours of consumption. But here's the key. It has to be real dark chocolate, not the sugar-laden milk chocolate that most people think of as chocolate. Extra virgin olive oil deserves special mention because it contains a unique compound called oleocanthal, which has anti-inflammatory effects similar to ibuprofen but without the side effects. The key is getting real extra virgin olive oil, not the processed versions that have had most of their beneficial compounds stripped away. The beauty of these anti-inflammatory foods is that they work hand in hand with everything else we've discussed. The omega-3s help preserve the nitric oxide produced by those leafy greens. The antioxidants in berries protect the citrulline pathway from being damaged by free radicals. It's all interconnected, but timing matters here too. Having some berries with your morning spinach smoothie isn't just about taste. Those antioxidants help protect the nitrates from being destroyed before they can do their work. Adding a drizzle of real olive oil to your salad isn't just for flavor. It's providing anti-inflammatory compounds that keep your blood vessels supple and responsive. Now, while you're building this anti-inflammatory shield and supporting your circulation with these nutrients, there's something else you need to understand. All of these foods work together in ways that create effects far more dramatic than you'd expect from eating them separately. And that's exactly what we need to talk about next. 7. The synergy secret. Why 1 + 1 + 1 = 10. You know what's fascinating? Most men think that eating these powerful foods individually will give them steady, predictable results. But that's like expecting a symphony orchestra to sound amazing when each musician is playing in a different room. The real magic happens when these nutrients work together in your body. This isn't just about adding 1 + 1 + 1. When you combine these foods strategically, you're looking at exponential effects, literally 10 times more powerful than eating them separately. Let me break down exactly why this happens. Remember those nitrates from leafy greens? They're the fuel. But your body needs a specific enzyme called eNOS to convert those nitrates into actual nitric oxide. And guess what that enzyme requires? Both the magnesium and zinc packed into those pumpkin seeds. So, when you eat spinach without adequate magnesium, you're essentially trying to start a car with fuel, but no spark plugs. The raw materials are there, but the conversion process can't happen efficiently. But combine that spinach with a handful of pumpkin seeds, and suddenly you've got a complete system working at full capacity. Here's another example that'll blow your mind. That citrulline from watermelon rind creates a steady stream of nitric oxide through a completely different pathway. But nitric oxide is fragile. It breaks down quickly in your bloodstream from free radical damage. Now, those antioxidants in dark berries don't just protect your blood vessels from inflammation. They actually extend the life of nitric oxide molecules, keeping them active in your system much longer. Think about it this way. You could have the most efficient nitric oxide production in the world, but if those molecules are getting destroyed as fast as you make them, you're not getting the full benefit. The berries act like bodyguards protecting your nitric oxide so it can do its job. This is why a smoothie containing spinach, watermelon rind, and blueberries isn't just nutritious, it's a precision-engineered delivery system. The spinach provides the nitrates, the watermelon rind supplies the citrulline for sustained production, and the berries protect and extend the life of the nitric oxide once it's created. But there's even more to this synergy. Those omega-3s from sardines don't just fight inflammation. They actually make your blood vessel walls more flexible and responsive. When your arteries are supple and healthy, they can expand more effectively when that nitric oxide signals them to open up. It's like the difference between trying to inflate a brand new balloon versus one that's been sitting in a drawer for 5 years. Here's what this looks like in practice. Let's say you have a morning smoothie with spinach, a chunk of watermelon rind, some blueberries, and you follow it up with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. Within about 30 minutes, you've got nitrates converting to nitric oxide, citrulline providing backup production, antioxidants protecting those molecules, and minerals supporting the enzymes that make this whole cascade possible. The result? Blood flow improvements that are dramatically more pronounced and longer lasting than if you'd eaten any of these foods by themselves. We're talking about the difference between a gentle stream and a rushing river. But here's the thing. Getting the combination right is only part of the puzzle. What if I told you that eating these powerful foods at the wrong time of day could cut their effectiveness in half? It's true. The real secret to unlocking their full potential lies in when you eat them. Timing isn't just important, it's everything. 8 in the timing code, when you eat, is as important as what you eat. You've got the right foods, you understand how they work together. But here's where most guys mess up completely. They think it's just about what you eat. That's like having the best ingredients, but cooking them at the wrong temperature. Your body runs on precise biological rhythms. These aren't suggestions. They're hardwired into your DNA from millions of years of evolution. When you eat these foods at the right times, you're working with your body's natural cycles. Eat them at the wrong times, and you're fighting against biology itself. Let me walk you through exactly when your body is primed for maximum results. This is your daily blueprint for turning those nutrients into real improvements. Morning is when your body wakes up from its overnight repair cycle. Your stomach is empty, your digestive system is fresh, and your circulation is just starting to rev up. This is the perfect window for that nitrate boost. A glass of fresh arugula or spinach juice, not a smoothie, just pure juice, hits your system like a direct injection. No fiber to slow absorption, no other foods competing for attention. This is the one time you don't want the fiber. We need that instant nitrate delivery. Later in the day, we'll use fiber to our advantage. But for this morning kickstart, speed is everything. Within 20 minutes of drinking that juice, those nitrates are already converting to nitric oxide. Your blood vessels start opening up, circulation improves. And here's the key. If you take a 15-minute walk right after drinking it, you amplify the effect dramatically. That gentle movement pushes the newly oxygenated blood throughout your entire system, including those smaller arteries that matter most. But don't eat anything else for at least 30 minutes. You want those nitrates to have a clear path through your digestive system. Even something as innocent as a piece of toast can interfere with the conversion process. Midday is when your energy naturally starts to dip. Most guys reach for coffee, but that's actually working against you. Caffeine constricts blood vessels, the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Instead, this is your citrulline window. That watermelon rind smoothie, this is when it shines. Unlike the morning nitrate boost, which is immediate but shorter lasting, citrulline provides sustained nitric oxide production for hours. It's like switching from a sprint to a marathon. If you're planning any physical activity, whether that's a workout, yard work, or intimate time with your partner, having that citrulline in your system 2 to 3 hours beforehand sets you up for success. Evening is where most men completely miss the boat. They think dinner is just about satisfying hunger, but your body is actually preparing for its most important repair cycle. This is when you produce the majority of your daily testosterone, when your blood vessels rebuild themselves, when your entire cardiovascular system gets its maintenance. This is where your evening fuel comes in. Pumpkin seeds provide the critical magnesium and zinc your body needs for its overnight repair cycle and testosterone production. But here's the timing secret. Eat them about 2 hours before bed, not right before you lie down. Why 2 hours? Because you want those minerals absorbed and circulating in your bloodstream when your body starts its overnight repair process. Eat them too late, and they're still sitting in your stomach when you should be in deep sleep. Eat them too early, and the levels have already dropped by the time your body needs them most. But all this perfect timing can be completely wasted. There's a single common daily habit, one that your own dentist likely told you was good for you, that is silently sabotaging your efforts. It can slash the nitric oxide boost from these foods by over 50%, effectively slamming the door shut on blood flow just when you're trying to open it. 9. The #1 health habit that secretly kills your erections. Here's something that's going to shock you. After everything we've covered about the right foods and perfect timing, there's one habit that can destroy all your progress overnight, and it's sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now. Antiseptic mouthwash. I know you're thinking, that's crazy. Mouthwash is supposed to be good for me. And that's exactly why this is so dangerous. You've been sabotaging yourself while thinking you're being healthy. Remember those nitrates in spinach and arugula that convert to nitric oxide? That conversion requires specific beneficial bacteria living on your tongue. These aren't harmful bacteria. They're part of your body's nitric oxide production system, evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. When you swish that antiseptic mouthwash around, you're not just killing bad bacteria, you're carpet bombing your entire oral ecosystem. Those nitrate-converting bacteria? Gone. Studies show antiseptic mouthwash can slash your nitric oxide production by over 50%. Think about that. You could be eating all the right foods at all the right times and still only getting half the benefit because you're unknowingly destroying the bacteria you need. It gets worse. These beneficial bacteria don't bounce back overnight. It takes days, sometimes weeks, for them to repopulate. If you're using mouthwash twice daily, you're keeping yourself in constant bacterial depletion. This explains why some guys try the nutritional approach and see minimal results. They're doing everything right with food, but undermining it with their oral hygiene routine. So what should you do? Stop the antiseptic mouthwash immediately. Your mouth will rebalance itself within days. For actual oral hygiene, use a tongue scraper. This removes food particles and dead cells without destroying beneficial bacteria. It's what people used for thousands of years before mouthwash companies convinced us we needed chemical warfare in our mouths. If you want to rinse, use warm salt water. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt in a cup of warm water. This creates an environment hostile to harmful bacteria while actively supporting the beneficial ones. It maintains healthy pH balance and gives your nitric oxide production system the best chance to thrive. Worried about bad breath? Here's the thing. Chronic bad breath usually comes from an imbalanced oral microbiome, often caused by overusing antiseptic products. When you restore natural bacterial balance, bad breath typically resolves itself. I've seen men make this one change, ditching antiseptic mouthwash, and suddenly all the nutritional strategies start working dramatically better. It's like removing a dam that's been blocking a river. The irony is profound. In trying to be healthier, you've been making yourself less healthy. But now you know, and you can make different choices, starting today. 10. The pelvic floor paradox. Activating the forgotten muscles of power. Here's something most doctors won't tell you about erections. There's a group of muscles that literally controls whether blood stays in your penis or leaks right back out. And 90% of men don't even know these muscles exist. I'm talking about your pelvic floor muscles. They sit like a hammock between your pubic bone and tailbone, and when they work right, they act like a valve that traps blood during an erection. When they don't work right, blood flows in but immediately flows back out. Now here's where everyone gets it backwards. Most advice tells you to strengthen these muscles with Kegels. Contract, hold, release, over and over. But for most guys over 60, that's actually making the problem worse. Your pelvic floor needs to do two opposite things. Yes, it needs to contract to trap blood. But first, it needs to relax completely to let blood flow in freely. If these muscles are chronically tight from stress or sitting all day, they're like a partially closed valve. Blood tries to get in, but the pathway is squeezed shut. This is what I call the pelvic floor paradox. Most men need to learn to relax these muscles before they worry about strengthening them. So instead of squeezing, you're going to do the opposite, a reverse Kegel. Lie on your back with knees bent, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, gently push your pelvic floor muscles downward, like you're starting to urinate, but very gently. You should feel a subtle release in your pelvic area. Hold this relaxed position for 5 seconds, then return to neutral. Don't strain or force it. This should feel like releasing tension you didn't know you were holding. Do this 10 times, twice a day. Many men notice an immediate difference. Less tension down there, better blood flow, even improved urination. Once you've mastered the relaxation, then you can work on strengthening. But for most guys our age, the relaxation is the game changer. When you gain control over these muscles, you're literally taking control of the physical mechanism of your erections. You're not just hoping things work, you're actively managing the system, but all of this depends on something that happens every night while you sleep. Something that determines whether these strategies actually work or fail completely. Because it's during those nighttime hours that your body produces the hormone that makes everything we've talked about possible. 11. The sleep testosterone connection, your nightly rebuilding protocol. Here's something that might surprise you. While you're sleeping tonight, your body is either rebuilding your masculine vitality or letting it slip away. Most guys have no idea that sleep quality directly controls their testosterone levels and blood vessel health. Research shows men getting less than 5 hours of sleep nightly have testosterone levels like someone 10 to 15 years older. Just 1 week of poor sleep can drop your testosterone by 10 to 15%. That's not gradual decline, that's falling off a cliff. Here's what's really happening during those crucial nighttime hours. During your first deep sleep cycles, your body enters its primary testosterone production phase. Your blood vessels undergo critical repair work, rebuilding that endothelial lining we talked about earlier. This nightly repair is fueled by the very same nitric oxide pathways we've worked so hard to rebuild. Your body is literally reconstructing the infrastructure needed for strong erections. Think of sleep as your nightly rebuilding protocol. Not just rest time. Your body has a construction crew that only works the night shift, and they need specific conditions to do their job properly. First, darkness triggers melatonin production, which doesn't just make you sleepy. It's a powerful antioxidant protecting your blood vessels during repair. Even small amounts of light from electronics or street lamps can cut melatonin production in half. Your bedroom needs to be cave dark. Blackout curtains, eye masks, cover those little LED lights on electronics. Temperature matters more than most realize. Your core body temperature needs to drop about 2 degrees to trigger deep sleep phases. Keep your bedroom between 65 and 68 degrees. Your body can't perform optimal repair work when it's fighting to cool down. Here's where those evening pumpkin seeds become crucial. That magnesium doesn't just support testosterone production. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair mode your body needs for deep sleep. Take them 2 hours before bed. Not right before, so the magnesium has time to work. The digital sunset protocol is non-negotiable. 90 minutes before bed, All screens go off. Blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs tells your brain it's daytime, suppressing melatonin production for hours. If you must use devices, blue light blocking glasses help, but complete digital darkness is better. Your sleep position affects circulation too. Sleeping on your back with a pillow under your knees takes pressure off your lower back and improves blood flow to your pelvic region. Side sleeping is fine, but avoid sleeping on your stomach. It can compress blood vessels and create tension in your pelvic floor muscles. Most guys think they're getting enough sleep because they're in bed 8 hours. But time in bed isn't the same as quality sleep. You need those deep sleep cycles where the real rebuilding happens. If you're waking up tired despite adequate time in bed, your sleep quality needs work. Room air quality plays a bigger role than most realize. Stale air with high carbon dioxide levels prevents deep sleep. Crack a window or use a small fan for air circulation. Plants like snake plants or peace lilies can improve overnight air quality naturally. Finish eating 3 hours before bed. Late meals force your body to focus on digestion instead of repair work. If you're hungry before bed, a small handful of pumpkin seeds is perfect. The magnesium helps sleep while the zinc supports overnight testosterone production. Here's something interesting about morning erections. They're actually your body's quality control test. Strong morning erections indicate your testosterone production and vascular repair systems worked properly overnight. Weak or absent morning erections often signal sleep quality issues, not just aging. Your bedroom environment is your nightly repair facility. Treat it like the important health tool it is: dark, cool, quiet, and comfortable. No work materials, no stressful reminders, just a space dedicated to rebuilding your body every night. But even perfect sleep won't help if your mind is working against you. There's a psychological component to male performance that can either amplify everything we've discussed or completely sabotage it. 12. Rewiring your brain for rock-solid confidence. Let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention: the mental side of erectile dysfunction. You can fix every physical problem, but if your mind is working against you, you're fighting an uphill battle. Here's what happens to most men when ED starts. The first time it occurs, you might brush it off as stress or fatigue. The second time, you start wondering. By the third or fourth time, your brain has created a story. I'm broken. I'm not a real man anymore. My partner is going to leave me. This creates what doctors call the performance anxiety cycle. You worry about performing, which increases stress hormones like cortisol. These hormones constrict blood vessels and interfere with the very blood flow pathways we've been rebuilding. So your worry actually creates the physical problem you're worried about. The psychological impact runs deeper than most realize. Men report feeling like failures, avoiding intimacy entirely, or making excuses to dodge romantic situations. Some withdraw from their partners emotionally because the shame feels unbearable. This isn't weakness. It's a normal response to something that strikes at the core of masculine identity. But here's the thing about your brain: it's incredibly adaptable. The same neuroplasticity that created negative thought patterns can create positive ones. You just need to know how to work with it instead of against it. When you start implementing the physical strategies we've covered, your body will begin responding. Maybe you'll notice stronger morning erections or better energy during the day. These are signals your vascular system is healing. Most men miss these early signs because they're focused on what's still not working perfectly. Instead, you need to train your brain to recognize and amplify the positive changes. When you notice that morning erection is stronger than it's been in months, don't just ignore it. Stop for a moment and consciously acknowledge it. Say to yourself, out loud if possible, "My body is healing. The changes I'm making are working." This isn't positive thinking nonsense. It's rewiring your neural pathways to recognize success instead of only focusing on failure. Your brain learns through repetition and emotional intensity. Every time you acknowledge a positive change, you're strengthening the neural pathway that says, "I'm getting better," instead of "I'm broken." The confidence creates a physiological response, too. When you feel confident and relaxed, your parasympathetic nervous system activates. Blood vessels dilate, stress hormones decrease, and blood flow improves. This is the exact opposite of what happens when anxiety floods your system with cortisol. Your thoughts can literally, physically open or close blood flow to where you need it most. Start small with this mental rewiring. Don't wait for perfect erections to feel good about your progress. Celebrate better sleep, increased energy, stronger morning erections, or even just the fact that you're taking action to improve your health. Some men find it helpful to keep a simple daily note, not a detailed journal, just a quick recognition of what's working. Slept better last night. Energy was good today. Morning wood was stronger. If you're in a relationship, don't carry this burden alone. Consider having an honest conversation about what you're working on. Honest communication can transform this from your secret shame into something you're tackling together as a team. That emotional connection and support is itself a powerful force against anxiety and for rebuilding confidence. Remember, confidence isn't about performing perfectly every time. It's about knowing you have the tools and knowledge to address challenges when they arise. You're not trying to become the man you were 20 years ago. You're building the strongest, most vital version of who you are right now. The physical strategies will rebuild your vascular health, but combining them with this mental rewiring creates something powerful. A man who's not just physically capable, but mentally unshakable. You now have everything you need to reclaim your vitality and confidence. The only question left is, when will you start?